On today's episode of WatchJRGo, Eric and I went shopping for motorcycles, and I think we found the cheapest and probably the most value for your money you could possibly, I don't want to say invest in, but spend your money on right now. The Yamaha V-Star. What is going on, guys? I'm WatchJRGo, and like I said, we are back in the shop with this 2007 Yamaha V-Star 1300 Eric and I just picked up for, you're not even gonna believe this, $2,000, and it has new tires on it. How does that happen? Tires cost that much. So the story is, our good friend Jordan, who's on the channel every once in a while, was looking for a bike. He wants to go riding with us, and we wanted to find him something. So he bought this as well, but some of it's mine. I don't really know what the deal is, but basically he had a four-wheeler. We got that sold for him, and then Eric saw this on Facebook Marketplace, and we grabbed some cash and went and picked it up for Jordan. Now he's obviously gonna pay me back, and this is going to be his bike, but for right now, I was like, it's staying in my shop because I wanna talk about what an insane deal this bike was. And it is an out of control deal. So the VTX 1300, as you would expect, is a 1300cc V-twin bike. And you know, it's nice to ride, it's smooth. We'll get into that here in a second so you can see just how quiet and smooth these stock bikes are. This thing is basically totally stock from a performance perspective, but somebody has definitely toured with it and added all the touring things you could want onto this bike, which is awesome because that stuff is expensive. The downside of that is it has 80,000 miles on the clock, which is a few, but as you guys have seen on this channel before, we buy 80,000 mile Harleys and we pay double for those, and they're older. Like, this is a lot of value for your money. It's not a Harley, but it still makes good power. This engine makes more power than that Chevy Chevette I was just driving. It makes 72 horsepower. I know, it's not a lot, but it's something, and it'll propel this thing down the road. It also makes 82 foot-pounds of torque. Neither of those numbers are impressive. A small sport bike will crush this thing, but it's a cool, you know, big iron V-twin, and it's smooth, liquid cooled, and all of that power goes through a 5-speed transmission. You can see it's fuel injected. It's got O2 sensors peeking out there, and it's belt drive, which also makes the ride that much smoother. So we've got a nice belt hanging out in there instead of a chain or a shaft. And that's most of the drivetrain on this thing. It's got the rock back and forth shifter. It has this really weird evap canister right there. Like, that really needs deleted. It's probably the worst looking part of the whole bike there. But it also has, whoever was touring with it liked their green underglow. It's always funny when you see an old man bike like this that somebody was clearly like riding cross country over and over, and then it's got green underglow under the tank, but they did a pretty good job, so we're definitely leaving it on here. It also has a solid lighting package so you can actually see while you're out touring. It's got its normal high-low beam headlights, and then these big old fog lights off to each side of the headlight, and nice looking turn signals as well. Now when we picked this thing up, it was absolutely filthy. It looked like a $2,000 bike. It looked terrible. But yesterday, we threw the foam cannon at it for a little bit, wiped it down, you know, gave it a good hand wash, and it still has a long way to go. You can see there's actually a lot of dirt we couldn't see down in there. That all needs cleaned up, but just after one hand wash, it actually looks like a very presentable bike. Here's more of the touring accessories. It looks like somebody probably had a heated jacket, and they were plugging it into that 12-volt outlet right there. They added a cup holder, they added a ram mount, they added a throttle lock, they added heated grips, which is very cool. These are Avon heated grips, and there's the heated grip controls. So you've got high, off, and low, which is amazing. Just those heated grips cost a couple $100, 300 bucks. So this thing is truly hooked up. All the acrylic wind deflectors are on here. The tinted windshield, I mean, the 3 different colors, it's kind of weird, and I think Jordan's gonna replace all of this. Thank God, it looks ridiculous with tint and then blue and then clear. So that's all gotta get swapped out. It's got nice bags on it. These are like hard bags that look like they're leather. Man, it's full of tools. Full of Allen wrenches and money and bungee cords. And this one over here, let's see what we got. Ooh, AMSOIL, huh? Came with some AMSOIL and some cleaner maybe? K&N filter oil. Now obviously those are aftermarket, but I think this luggage rack here is maybe a factory Yamaha accessory. The sissy bar, factory accessory, very nice. You can see the V-Star logo in that. So your passenger probably has a great time sitting on this bike. I'm sure it's extremely comfortable in the back because even the passenger gets floorboards instead of just pegs. So floorboards in the front, highway pegs, obviously aftermarket, but very nice. And this seat height is incredible on this thing. I absolutely loved taking it out for a quick spin. When you swing your leg over this bike, it's incredible. Like, you want to talk about sitting with your feet on the floor, flat on the floor, this is where it's at. If you need to back it up, you've got so much leverage. A seat height this low is just incredible. You can see how that tinted windshield's terrible. There's like a bend in it, and it distorts everything you're seeing if you have to look down in front of you through the bend. But it's got a nice big old speedometer. I don't think there's a tach ever. Let's turn this thing on. Needle sweep when it turns on, very cool. No fuel gauge, which is another huge letdown, but it does have a low fuel light. 88,000 miles. Wow. All right, so select here. 236, 830, trip 1. Wow, this switch is a little sticky. That's about the only thing wrong with it though. Trip 2, clock. Nope, there's no fuel gauge. There's no gear indicator, only a neutral safety or a neutral indicator, and that's it. So let's be honest, the instruments could be better. If it was a Harley, it would have a fuel gauge. Not having a fuel gauge is kind of a huge letdown. At the same time, who needs a fuel gauge when you have this monstrous 5-gallon tank? So you're gonna get a ton of range out of 5 gallons, which is very nice. So gotta give them some credit there. At least you got the light, and at least you can cruise a long way. 5 gallons on a bike like this is always enough that you want to get off and take a break, so it's not like it's the worst thing. Really, the only other thing we need to mention is the brakes. Obviously, dual telescoping forks in the front, dual disc brakes in the front, single brake in the rear. There's no like brake proportioning or auto brakes like there would be on that, but it all works wonderfully. The rear brake even works. A lot of times you buy used bikes and the rear brake's just shot and nobody wants to fix it. So this one is actually perfect. The tires are not awesome. They are Shinkos, but like I said, they're new. Other than that, that is the V-Star. So let's go ride this thing. Before we ride this thing, the title of the video was supposed to be much funnier. I mean, it has to be like, this is the cheapest bike you can get that's really, really good, because it's exactly that, $2,000 and incredibly nice. But the title of the video is supposed to be, this is the bike you buy for your friend, this is the bike you buy for an acquaintance, and this is the bike you buy for yourself. And Eric was gonna bring his Harley back over there because I bought him that, you know, and then I kind of bought this for Jordan, even though he's paying me back, and we were gonna line up the bikes and be like, see, you spend 30 grand on yourself, and you spend 7 grand on your friend, and you spend 2 grand on your acquaintance. We told Jordan that. Obviously, Jordan's a good friend, but the title's hilarious. He was like, make it that title. I know, it's super funny, but the title we went with is probably the one people are actually gonna watch. Oh no, the battery's dead. That wasn't supposed to happen. You know, these touring bikes don't love it to be shifted with no clutch, but hey, sometimes you only have one hand. So we're just gonna take it through this neighborhood here. I mean, we're gonna get it out on the road in just a second, but this thing's just so comfy. Listen to how quiet it is. It's like, I don't know how to describe it. If a Harley could be turned down about 95%, that's what this thing sounds like. It has the same kind of intonation of the V-twin, just kind of rolling around, super chill, but at the same time, it's almost silent, which is super nice. Nobody's ever upset at you when you're rolling around on one of these. Look at this thing. It's like watching a video game. It's just too good. I know some people don't like these bikes because there's not much character once you make everything perfect, but at the same time, it sure is nice to ride a bike when everything's perfect. My Goldwing is the ultimate example of that, and I love that bike to death. I don't know if I'll ever let it go. I know for a while I talked about getting rid of it, but I don't know what compares to it other than the big touring BMW. You know the front end straight when you can one-hand it everywhere. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a GoPro. It was in my truck.
So we can't really go make a full pull, 0 to 60 pull, anything like that, but you can sure see what it's like to ride. And like I said from the beginning, it's so comfy, the seat height is perfect, and it's so quiet at the same time. So here's wide open throttle. Wow, it's actually quick. It doesn't feel quick at all, but the speedometer jumps up 30 miles an hour and you're like, no, that's not bad. That's not bad. This is a little better than you'd ever expect. And for $2,000, it's better than everything you would expect. That's the play here. It's a good bike. That's really all I have to say. Turns in nice, even with these Shinko tires on it, and it's got plenty of power. I guess it's time for me to literally go right off into the sunset. I told you guys it's good. What an insane amount of motorcycle for your money. And honestly, if I didn't ride my Goldwing, I would love to be riding this. I also really want a new Road Glide. But can you imagine, like, a new Road Glide the way you want is $60,000. This is $2,000. It's less than one payment most people are making on their Road Glides. Whew! Get it, Yamaha. You don't mess around. There's something you don't see every day.
That's the quickest overview of all time. The V-Star doesn't really have any options. It doesn't have a radio, it doesn't have Bluetooth, it doesn't have a nice cluster. It literally has nothing. It's a basic old motorcycle, but it's a really good basic old motorcycle, and I kind of love it. It was an incredible bike for $2,000. That is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head on over to shop.WatchJRGo.com for cool shirts just like this. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, and I will talk to you next time. Another note, this is Jordan's starter bike. He's ridden plenty of dirt in his life and everything like that, but he's getting his motorcycle license right now, and this will be his first bike, and it's gonna be perfect because it's not too fast. It'll always stay under control. The suspension's compliant. You know, we rode it, made sure the triple wasn't messed up. It hadn't been laid over hard or anything like that. It's clearly been dropped. Every bike's been dropped. There's a bunch of scratches on the brake lever, but it hasn't been sliding down a highway, so it rides very nicely. And if you want a starter bike that's big, like you want to take your girlfriend on the back and her not hate you because it's a sport bike, anything like that, this is probably it. Hop on Marketplace and see if you can find one of these, because $2,000 is crazy. That's less money than a Navi, less money than a Grom, less money than every other new bike on the planet.